All right, you're going to need colored pencils or a crayon or something that's easy to shade with for this page. On page 188, we're going to be shading the bars to show equivalent fractions and then filling in the blanks to rate the equivalent fractions. You could use your pencil too. It's not going to be that difficult. The bars are not that big. So number 4, shade the bars to show equivalent fractions and fill in the blanks to rate them. So they want to know 1/2 equals how many eighths. First, just check and make sure that they have their models correct. They're showing you a half. A half has how many equal parts? Exactly, 2 equal parts. The denominator shows you how many equal parts. So you should have 2 equal parts. 1, 2. You do have that. And of those 2 equal parts, how many of those equal parts are you going to shade in to show half? The numerator will show you that. So you will be shading in 1 of those. Go ahead and do that. Okay, so you should have that bar shaded to show half. They want to know 1/2 equals how many eighths. Double check the bars. Let's make sure that they have that bar divided into 8 equal sections. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 sections and they are equal size and shape. So they did that correctly. The question is, how many of those eighths do you have to shade in to have a fraction equivalent to 1/2? So how many of those need shaded in? They cover the same amount of space that you have covered over here with half. Any ideas? Go ahead and figure it out. Shade in what you think. Actually, go ahead and pause this video, shade in what you think, and then press play to check your answer. All right, I hope that you could see that you had to shade in 4 of those 8 boxes to have the same size area shaded in as when you have 1 out of 2 boxes shaded in. So a fraction equivalent to half is how many eighths? 1, 2, 3, 4 eighths. 4 is your answer. Let's go on to number 5. Number 5 asks, 2/3 is equal to how many sixths? Make sure that bar is divided into thirds first, because the denominator tells you how many equal parts it should be divided into. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, it is. Yay, that makes things easier. So how many of those bars do we need to shade in? The numerator tells you that, and that would be 2. So go ahead and shade in 2/3 of the bar in number 5. All right, so you have 2/3 shaded in for the first bar. The second bar, they want to know, well, how many sixths is equivalent to 2/3? Make sure they have 6 equal parts there. Go ahead and count them yourself. And then shade in how many bars you think it will take to be equivalent to 2/3. Pause this video and shade those in. All right, so I hope you shaded in 4 of those boxes and writing the answer of 4/6. So 2/3 is equivalent to 4/6. Down to number 6, draw lines and shade to show equivalent fractions, then fill in the blanks to write equivalent fractions. Number 6, 1/2 is equal to how many fourths? Well, draw the lines in to get 1/2. Draw one line in the middle. Whoops, gives you 2 equal parts if you can draw neatly, which for some reason I just can't seem to do this morning. And you need this next one to be in fourths. right, now that I got those finally divided into fairly equal sections, I'm going to shade in half of the first one. I'm going to pick a light color so I don't have to overlap, and I'm just going to shade in part of it. And then how many fourths are you going to need to shade in to be equivalent to half? Do you know? So let's take a look. Oh, you always want to start at the left. Is that enough to be equivalent to half? I don't think so either. Let's try 2/4. Is that enough to be equivalent to half? Looks about right to me. What if we did 3/4? Is that enough to be equivalent to half? Is it too much? Definitely too much. So the answer, how many fourths is equal to half, is 2/4. Go down to number 7. 4/6 is equal to how many thirds? Go ahead and divide your boxes into those equal parts.